you there?
Yes, I'm here. Always good to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I talked to you this morning. You saw the entirety of the Davos. So with all this happening, let's just get to it. With all this happening right now in the country, I mean, we're at a boiling point. Everyone feels that you can cut the electricity with a knife. This is what it used to feel like in a Tyson fight, right? And here we are now in America with everyone losing their shit. Man, it's ripe right now, isn't it, Ghost?
Yeah, it is. And it's exactly where I and others said, and I said it a long time ago, that if things didn't start to move in a certain direction by 1 January, which they did and are, as you can see.
With the capture of Maduro.
Yeah. Both on a larger geopolitical scale and a domestic scale. And, you know, like Renee Good, when you said that it came to man, that song came to mind. Hey man, nice shot. Well, hey man, good shot. I mean,
hey man, nice shot.
Is,
Filter. That's a great song, by the way. Yeah. Great 90s song, right?
Yeah.
Hey man, nice shot. That's what it is. Yeah, Filter.
Let me preface what I'm about to say with some research and some discussions I've had lately. Now it is going to be an accepted fact in the nearness of time, meaning 1, 2, 3 years, that let's say the jab.
Yeah, be careful here.
All right, all I'm going to say is affects brain activity.
Right. Makes people more aggressive.
Yes, it affects processing. So we'll leave that alone for now. And you're seeing this totally illogical, aberrant behavior against people simply enforcing laws that should have been enforced a long time ago, simply doing their job. And it is good for this country, what ICE is doing. And I'm sick and tired of
who the people are really protecting. It's absurd. I mean, they just a little bit of research, try to understand who they're really, I mean, they think they're
pedophiles, murderers. They're not protecting people who want a flower shop.
Right.
They're protecting the worst of the worst of the worst. And I and others said a long time ago, they would be the first that have to be targeted.
Right. And get this. Volunteers in Minnesota deliver groceries. Okay, get this. This is how much they're protecting them. Volunteers in Minnesota are delivering groceries so immigrants can hide at home. This is like Nazi Germany. 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗹, or I don't know how to say his name, arrived at the house carrying 2 boxes filled with groceries, but the man inside was afraid to come to the door. A blue sedan parked outside seemed suspicious. Don't come out. Mr. 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗹, speaking in Spanish, told the man by the phone, "Let me check the car first." So the car was empty, and Mr. 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗹 saw no signs of federal agents in the area. So the man appeared at the door, expressing gratitude for the food, and Mr. 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗹, a passer, prayed over this guy, delivered his groceries. So these people really feel like they're in the right. So they're delivering groceries to immigrants who broke the law coming into this country, and praying over them. And this is like, it's almost like I just did a show with Danny Goller about the blue dress, gold dress, how people remember that meme back in the day, or that dress they showed about a decade ago. I remember some people saw the blue dress, some people saw the gold dress. I don't know if you remember that, Ghost, but that's where we're at with all this. Like some people,
seems like a Mandela effect type thing.
Yeah, but it was a like completely divided. Some people saw the blue, some people saw the gold. That's how we're at right now. That's where we're at in this country. Some people see it their way, we see it our way, and there is no middle ground anymore. It's like you either see it this way or that way, and they see it the exact same way. Alex, yeah, show the dress. Yeah, there's the dress right there. I see blue and black, right? A lot of people see gold and white.
I see blue with gray and gold undertones, but blue by far.
Yeah,
is the
but some people
color.
see a completely gold dress. I don't know what anyone in my audience sees right here, but you tell me, put it in the chat what you see. Do you see a gold dress or do you see a blue dress? Okay, I see white and gold, people say. Wow.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, but see, I think that's where we're at in all this. People see it their way, we see it our way, and that's it. And that's what's going to make this so dangerous with the MSN stoking the fire.
Yeah, there's their way, there's our way, there's the way it is, and then the way it's presented. And I think our way is pretty much the way it is, because you're talking to rational people who use logic and reason and observation and pattern recognition in their thinking. If you're not employing those faculties, you're not digesting and processing what you're seeing correctly. Simple as that. And there can be no emotion attached to it. I think these cities that are starting to, let's say, light up, you're seeing this in real time. You're seeing this because this is what was expected. And again, the old expression, digging your own grave. And it's tragic in certain ways. It's very sad in certain ways.
I've always said I think we're living
but
through,
it has to be dealt with.
I think we're living through the purge. I think this is it.
Yeah. Now there's a good case to make there. And understand, and anyone that's intrepid enough to dig deep enough, go into the Federal Registry, look up the New York Times articles, or one article in particular. We have been and the executive branch has never not been in a state of emergency since the banking holiday in 1933. But they brush it to the background. This is why the executive branch was allowed to gain so much power and through the executive order. This was designed for, in the end game, which we are in, that their, let's say, the Euro supranational American-centric banksters, etc., the globalists, in effect, that is, again, who is panicking and who are on the ropes with all of this. Their own creation will out itself. And when it's dealt with properly, and it's easily done since Congress in 1973, a congressional committee that was formed to investigate this very issue found not only were they still in a state of emergency, but over 560 lines of code. I've said this before. I'm repeating again for the very fact that people need to understand this. It was never addressed and repealed, or let's say, from a legal standpoint, nullified and brought back into constitutional lines. We don't go by the Constitution. That's still a fantasy. The idea is to get back to those ideals, but we're still living in a fantasy world. And it's only become worse. But everything, again, is a two-edged sword. So that can be used against what is trying to fragment and cause this country to rapidly get in line with where UK and Australia are. And UK, remember that. They're 10, 20 years ahead of us. If we don't allow these, don't think of the Democratic Party as a party. It's not.
It's been hijacked.
It is by definition an operational wing of globalist intentions. And the president, I think, did a brilliant job in Davos. Calm, cool, collected, straightforward, in your face, real as always, said what we are and are not going to do.
Hold on,
and
he did. I mean, he fired shots across the bow. That was a declaration.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone there probably started shaking in their boots. And now that pushes them, into a premature move. Now they have got to make a move because they know he's after them. He's hot on their ass. And with that being said, folks, this was breaking. Something serious is happening in America. That's why I got this on an X post. The first footage from Andrews Air Force Base after the sudden return of Air Force One, the scene in no way suggests it was a minor issue as being claimed. The official narrative, power system malfunction, but the speed of the turnaround and return along with the intensity of the security measures upon landing point to a state of maximum alert. Trump was immediately transferred to a backup aircraft C-32 to depart for Davos as if they were racing against time. Reporters on the ground at the heart of the event described the atmosphere as charged with tension. No one believes that the presidential aircraft, equipped with billions of dollars worth of technology, would suddenly fail in this way. So was it, I don't know, were they trying to take him out? I've had a lot of guests say, 𝗬𝗏 one of them, saying, dude, this guy, I mean, everyone's worried about him flying.
They're not going to stop taking him out.
Yeah.
The 13th, he changed his schedule up between the 1st and the 10th of September. You're welcome. I had a visit from Secret Service and FBI the Sunday before the surgery I had to go through.
All right, I know you knew I was.
Yeah, people knew I was down, and they knew I was sick. But yeah, and we had a very good discussion, and everything was copacetic. Everything's cool. Everything's copacetic, but the information was real, and the threat is still real.
Yeah,
and they're not going to stop.
They ghost. They don't understand that they are still trying to take this guy out. They need to take him out.
And they're not going to stop. And others, many others, myself, though not charged with it, are going to keep an eye out and constantly send in any information and intelligence we come across regarding that. This is not a game. These people, what he's going up against, and what I think eventually we're going to see a very interesting realignment. I've said this before, of nations. And if you looked at that 𝗬𝗃𝗂𝗁𝗃 interview with Tucker Carlson that I sent you, you hear that, the very same words coming from his mouth. Who is he? Someone who has advised leaders in Russia since Yeltsin, I think even as far back as Gorbachev. And I'm sure 𝗬𝗏 could say a lot on those times. I know that for a fact. And this man is a reasonable man. Always apply the filter of Russian propaganda as they would with what we say. But the reality is, there's so much going on. How many people know that since the beginning of this Ukraine special military action on the Russians' part, we've had teams inside of Russia wreaking havoc. Why? Because they've had teams inside of Europe wreaking havoc in their way, and they have sleeper teams in this country. So but that's par for the course in the intel world. But who, by and large, has traditionally been controlling the intel world? The banksters. Okay? It should be becoming more clear to people what level this game is really playing out.
So let me ask you this, Ghost. Let me ask you this. I know we're going to talk about the coming false flag attack on NinosCorner.tv, but can we say that, will it be wrapped into one with the black swan with the banks? Will it be, because it's all Douglas, Colonel Douglas, or what is it? I forget his name. McGregor, there you go. It said that. There, thank you. I was way off. Well, it was Douglas McGregor, right? So he said that he put it out saying, once the United States admits alien life, the UK banks are being prepared to fold. I mean,
I'm glad he said that, because that picture is much more involved, not what most would think it is. It gets down to the very nature of the construct of consciousness and reality. I could do a series of lectures with that on the back channel if you wish.
Yeah, let's do it.
But
well, I'm sure
this is where we are in a time of revelation. It has gone this route because of, again, the interplay of what is best or what is worst for people and those behind each camp and each faction, and how this interplay above nation state levels has been playing out. And it's finally here and going in, for the most part, the right direction.
But is Trump moving, pushing their hand into this? It seems to me like he's picking a fight.
He's not picking a fight. He's stating, in a sense, yes, it'll look like that. But what he's doing is stating reality. Yeah, he's stating reality because he said expressly, we will not use force with Greenland. But basically, if we don't get it, we don't have to be nice to you in every way down the line. And we do hold the cards technologically, financially, militarily, and in the ways that matter in this day and age at this stage of the game. So I loved his composure and I loved what he said because I expected all of that. And these little minions like Carney in Canada, he bitch slapped him pretty hard. So it was kind of funny because, yeah, they're that faction of leadership in Canada, and I know most Canadians hate that faction of leadership. They're an extension of what in the Crown Corporation is propping up everywhere they can to keep their banking structure in order. Again, I think the banking structure is going to change. We're going to see a blend of crypto and physical, and we're going to lead that game.
J just contacted me today. He says,
I love that guy.
Yeah, he says, it's urgent. I got to speak to you. We got to do a show. It's time is of the essence. He says, what it sounded like to me, he's saying it's urgent that this event's coming. He has intel on it. He wants to talk about gold, silver, and crypto, why people need to get on that now. And with that being said, also, folks, remember that the Insurrection Act, it's already hitting. We've been talking about this for years on 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗏.tv. And Juan said he never signed it on in January of 2020. What was it? When did the January 6th? Yeah. So he never signed it there.
Yeah, but because he would have thrown that card of his poker hand away.
Right.
And
so,
that
but
wasn't the time to do it.
He could be moving towards that now. At least now, all these syndicates and articles are writing. They're writing a lot of articles about this. The Insurrection Act could be the dress rehearsal for interfering in the midterms. President Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, a statute first enacted in 1792, allowing him to deploy the military inside the United States in response to protests in Minnesota. The largely listen to what they say here. The largely peaceful protests intensified after an immigration and customs.
I gotta laugh. I'm sorry.
It's just insane. Emergency enforcement agency officer shot and killed Renee Good. She was good. A Minneapolis mother after an encounter. And the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job. I will institute the Insurrection Act. Trump wrote last Thursday morning on Truth Social, adding that the move would quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. He has already alerted 1,500 troops in Alaska for possible deployment to Minnesota. So, Ghost, is he going to, do you see him deploying these troops now, or are we going to wait for the event to happen first?
I see it ginning up a little more, getting hotter until it becomes stupid and people commit stupid acts.
And demand that he invokes it.
Yes, because it is this useful idiot opposition standing on street corners with, kitted out AR-15s. You're not. I wish these people would understand they're in no position to go up against what the architecture for is already in place and has been for dealing with this kind of thing. And the media is going to paint it one way. Obviously, we know that. But the reality will be, again, whoever pulls the trigger first loses. And the incidents so far have been justifiable self-defense. But what about the policemen in Oregon the other day who were lured and gunned down and murdered? They're pulling the trigger first. Allow them to do that.
Let me ask you,
it only makes it that more substantial that their position is nullified in the fullness of time.
you know, let me ask you this. Like you said on my program a couple of years ago, during the Biden invasion, right? You said, don't worry about it. They're all being tracked and traced. All the immigrants, we know who they are, their credit cards, their phones are being given. We're watching all of it. And I heard from other sources that right now there's agents in regular clothing in Minneapolis right now tracking and tracing all these people who are clearly putting themselves on video, like this guy. These people are being tracked and traced as well, correct?
Yes, facial recognition, voice prints. Get a burner phone. It doesn't matter. Your voice print will give you away. I don't care if you're at a phone booth in Tierra del Fuego. Your voice print will indicate where you are, who you are, what you're doing, with a little more very rapidly ascertained intelligence on you. And this is what they don't understand. And I feel for these people in the fact that you're walking into a cauldron of your own making.
Damn.
By following ideologies that have no basis and practicality in this day and age. Good luck to you. The loss of life is a tragic thing. The president spoke of ending the wars because of the mass loss of life. We don't want to feed a certain beast on this planet. And that's fed through strife, negative reactions, _, if you will, and loss of life.
Ghost, let's talk about this on Nino'sCorner.tv. I got a hard stop right now. I have another podcast with Adam on Crowds on Demand at 11. So let's bring you on Nino'sCorner.tv right now and finish this up, because I want to talk about the FF that's going to happen and how this is going to bring America to its knees financially. Multiple cards will be played. You have intel on that, correct?
Some.
Okay.
And good information.
All right, let me end this segment with what the fuck news, folks. In what the fuck news, San Francisco Coyote swims to Alcatraz for the first time ever. It was late Sunday afternoon, like any other San Francisco Alcatraz, like any other on San Francisco's Alcatraz Island. The day was winding down, and Aiden Moore, a guest relations employee for Alcatraz City Cruises, was at the dock of the tourist attraction helping visitors disembark. Suddenly, one of the tourists approached him saying, wide-eyed, saying they had just seen a coyote swimming to shore, something that has never been recorded before. I didn't believe him. To start with, Moore said, who's been working on the island for the past 2.5 years, told SF Gate over the phone, but the guest insisted they had the video to prove it. They held up their phone to show him on the screen, and sure enough, there is a coyote paddling through the water and eventually reaching the craggy coast on the southern edge of the island near the Agave Trail, panting and shivering. Moore said he never got the guest's name, but asked them to airdrop the video to his phone. He then called the sighting over the radio to the park rangers on site, who went to the trail to look for the animal, but then it had already disappeared. I suspect he fell into the water chasing something and then was swept away, Moore said. The captain of the boat told him there were some unusual currents in the bay that day, likely runoff from recent storms that were coming in at approximately 8 or 9 knots. That's somewhere between 9 to 10 miles per hour. A speed no animal could outswim if they got caught in it. He didn't look like he was in very good condition, which I'm not surprised given the harrowing experience, Moore said. It's not clear where the coyote came from. He speculated it swam the 1.25 mile journey from San Francisco, which faces the southern edge of Alcatraz, though it could have also been swept in from Marine or Angel Island, where a family of coyotes also recently established territory after making a swim from the North Bay. Folks, this is crazy. Crazy. A coyote, there he is. The coyote swims all across the entire bay of San Francisco to Alcatraz Island. Wow. Talk about endurance. I don't think that's ever been seen before or documented before. I thought that was definitely what the fuck news. So I thought I'd bring it to your attention. All right, folks, I'm going to head over to ninoscorner.tv and talk about the event that's coming with the ghost. He talked to me this morning, said it's important, it's crucial. Okay, let's go. ninoscorner.tv. I got to do it right now, folks. I'm sorry to